Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. How was lunch today? Good. A big thank you to Celia. Celia's provided lunch today for us, so a tremendous thank you to them. My name is Richard Pagano. I'm a local State Farm agent here in town, and I'm also the CEO of the Antioch Chamber of Commerce. Before we kick things off, I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors. Our title sponsors today are Richland Communities and Republic Service, and we have an event sponsor, the Summersville Town Center. So we're super happy. Thank you. We're super happy to have each of you as our sponsors. So thank you so much. It means a lot to us that you guys continue to contribute to the efforts of the Chamber to make our community better. I'd now like to acknowledge some of our elected officials that we have with us today. Tito Ramos from Congressman McNerney's office is with us. Thank you for being here. We have Ryan Brown from Congressman DeSaulnier's office. George Escucha from Senator Steve Glazier's office is with us. We have representatives from Jim Frazier's office with us today. Sorry, your name didn't make it to my list. From Supervisor Diane Burgess' office, we have Don Morrow. Thank you. From Supervisor Federal Glover's office, Vincent Manuel is here. From the Antioch City Council, we have Mayor Pro Tem Joy Motz, Councilwoman Monica Wilson, Councilwoman Lori Orgachak. Thank you to each of you for your service to our community. I'd like to share with you a little bit about what the Antioch Chamber of Commerce is and what it does for our community. We recently celebrated 81 years of service to the business community, and the Antioch Chamber of Commerce is a voluntary partnership of business and professional people working together to build a healthy economy and to improve the quality of life in our community. Our mission statement is to promote the community, advocate for business, help business grow on a local level, and encourage regional economic development and jobs creation. What does all of that mean? Well, the Chamber created a task force which involves city and county representatives, APD, businesses, nonprofits, faith-based organizations, all to help the homeless and those experiencing extreme poverty. And we created this task force because we know that a successful business environment requires more successful residents and less blight. We work with government officials like Chief Brooks and our city manager, Ron Bernal, to make the business community feel more safe throughout. And we do that through a project called the Business Neighborhood Watch. The Chamber supports the Business Neighborhood Watch because we know that a safer and cleaner business environment is more welcoming to each and every one of your patrons. The Chamber has formed partnerships with local schools to create business relevance for youth in our community. Chamber members like Kaiser Permanente work with both the Chamber and AUSD to create internship opportunities for the children in our community. The Chamber understands that having better schools creates greater desire for residents to live in our community and new businesses to move here. And finally, the Chamber recognizes the importance of economic development and jobs creation. To that end, we've embarked on a relationship with St. Mary's College in Moraga, partnered with the City of Antioch, and ultimately our goal is to develop an economic opportunity plan for the Summersville area. Our expectation of this project, at its completion, are actionable items both for the city and the Chamber of Commerce that will help encourage business development and growth, as well as jobs creation throughout the Summersville corridor. We do this because we know that more local jobs mean more local shoppers and greater economic vitality for Antioch. The business community succeeds in Antioch when its residents succeed, and the Antioch Chamber of Commerce is working to effect change for the betterment of all of Antioch. I'd now like to thank each and every one of our speakers, Chief Brooks, City Manager Ron Bernal, and Mayor Wright. We appreciate you coming out this afternoon to share your vision with the community. Our first speaker today is Chief Brooks. He started his career with APD when he was hired as a police officer in 1995. As an officer, he worked a variety of assignments, including patrol, community policing, field trainer officer, and detective. He was promoted to corporal in 2002, assigned as patrol supervisor, and later a communications bureau supervisor. Chief Brooks rose through the ranks promoted to sergeant in 2005, lieutenant in 2012, and captain in 2014. In May 2017, Chief Brooks was appointed as Antioch's 11th chief of police since its incorporation in 1872. Chief Brooks holds his bachelor's in public administration from the University of San Francisco and a master's degree in leadership from St. Mary's College. He's also a graduate of the FBI National Academy and the Police Executive Research Forum's Senior Management Institute for Police. Chief Brooks has been married to his beautiful wife, Michelle, for 26 years, and they have 3 sons, ages 24, 22, and 20. 2 of them still live at home, and they're working on it. He is a proud Antioch resident. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Chief Brooks.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay, I'll do my best. Let's try this. All right. So I'm glad that I made it here today. First of all, thank you for that warm welcome. I'm glad I made it here on time today. As I was on my way here, I actually got stopped to take a robbery report. A sloth told me that he got robbed by 3 turtles, and I asked him what happened, and he said he didn't know it happened so fast. So it was a pretty short report. Okay, so with that said, I'd like to talk a little bit about where the City of Antioch and the Antioch Police Department has been, where we are, and then where we're going. So this is my 4th public speaking engagement in the past 2 weeks. And at 2 of the previous engagements, I got the same question. And the question was, why does Antioch have a bad rap? Why does Antioch have a bad reputation? And I'm going to tell you, one of the answers that I give is, quite honestly, because at one point we earned it. This headline right here is from June 4th of 2013 that mentions that Antioch, based on UCR stats from FBI, was the 4th most dangerous city in California. Behind Oakland, Stockton, and Richmond, Antioch was the 4th most dangerous city in California. So we earned that reputation. And as Benjamin Franklin had said, it takes many good deeds to earn a good reputation, but it only takes one bad deed to change that. That was not good. That's what people remember. However, if we look at where the city of Antioch has gone from a crime picture since 2012 through 2018, you will see that our violent crime has reduced 43.6%. Our property crime has been reduced by 30% for an overall reduction in Part 1 crime of over 32%. We are not that city of 2012. However, a lot of people still, through confirmation bias, if they hear one thing that happens, they just, oh, there it is, Antioch again. Up there it is, Antioch again. And you can see, and folks, I'm not saying that Antioch does not have crime. What I'm saying is our crime picture has been significantly reduced through a lot of hard work, through the men and women of the Antioch Police Department, through the great reputation that we have with members of the community. And we have changed what Antioch looks like from a crime picture standpoint. There are the stats right there. For the past 7 years, our Part 1 crime has been reduced every single year. There is not one year that we have had a rise in Part 1 crime in the past 7 years. And I'm very, very proud of that fact. The other thing, we did have a slight increase in property crime back in 2017, which I could talk about recent legislation that has kind of added to that. However, our violent crime through those 7 years has continued to decrease every single year. Between 2016 and 2017, in fact, Antioch was the city of the 73 cities in California that has a population of over 100,000 people. Antioch had the largest reduction of violent crime in 1 year. As noted in the California Juvenile and Criminal Justice report, we had a 20.8% decrease in 1 year, which was the largest decrease of any city with a population over 100,000. And actually, of those 73 cities, there were some cities that actually had a 15.7% increase during the same time. So Antioch was the top as far as the largest reduction. So, how did we do that? Most of you are aware of the fact that back in 2013, the staffing at the Antioch Police Department, due to the economic recession, had reached a low point into the high 70s for a city of over 100,000. And right before Measure C was approved by voters in November of 2013, we were at 82 police officers. So Measure C was approved November of 2013, and they said that it would allow us to hire 22 police officers. So how have we done? Since November of 2013 through this month, the Antioch Police Department has hired 70 police officers. But due to attrition of 47 officers during that same time, it has given us a net of 23 police officers, which puts us at 105 through this month, which is the highest it's been in almost a decade. Because of that, we've done a significant number of promotions. Obviously, we've hired a lot of people. We've made great use of volunteers because even though at 105 police officers, that's significantly higher than it was, it's still significantly less than the county and state average of 1.2 officers per thousand. If Antioch Police Department had 1.2 officers per thousand, we would have a staffing of 137 police officers. So we're more than 30 officers less than the state average. So how do we try and utilize additional resources? We use our volunteers and police services, who last year alone donated over 9,500 hours to the police department. And then we also have our explorers, which are young people who are local between the ages of 14 and 21, who also donate time another 3,000 hours, which means the time donated between our volunteers and police services and our explorers is the equivalent of about 6 FTEs. And so a lot of work is done through these volunteers who are committed to helping our community thrive and be safer. So, what's ahead of us? With the additional staffing, as officers complete their field training program and we have more sworn staff out on the street, one of the things that I plan on implementing is an increased traffic enforcement team. Currently, right now, the Antioch Police Department only has 2 sworn officers dedicated to our traffic unit. And last year alone, we saw a significant increase in fatal traffic accidents, a 250% increase in fatal traffic accidents. We saw a 25% increase in injury accidents and a 50% increase in non-injury accidents. That is completely unacceptable. It is a threat to our public safety. And actually, this year, we've already had 3 traffic fatalities, 2 in 1 incident, and then we just had a fatal motorcycle accident earlier this month. So we're going to increase the amount of traffic enforcement because, unfortunately, a lot of the education comes from enforcement. So we're going to have to catch people in the act, and we're going to have to educate these people to slow down on our roadways, follow the rules of the road, to try and change behavior. We're going to move toward intelligence-led policing. Intelligence-led policing is a philosophy that enables us to take data and information that we're already collecting, but to organize and analyze it in such a way that it becomes intelligent. And intelligence will provide us the ability to take actionable steps and strategies and tactics to work on preventing crime from happening in the first place. I know a lot of people in this room have heard me say this before. I'm going to say it again. A crime prevented is better than a crime solved. And so we're going to try and work through the information that we're gathering now and building a system in which we could gather more information, turn that into intelligence, and allow us to try and work smarter with the resources that we have. We're also going to be going to an unmanned aerial vehicle program. Some people refer to it as a drone. This is a video that was just taken earlier this week during a training simulation at a location here in Antioch. This video is actually a scenario of an incident that happened at a community here in the Bay Area, in which a man fell asleep in a drive-through with a handgun that resulted in that person being shot and killed. And so we are training our officers to try and figure out a way to deal with that scenario that doesn't lead to lethal force. Using the drone to get a picture of what the person is doing, what it looks like. You could see that it has thermal imaging as well. This program will enable us to not only search for people, whether it's a missing person, a person who is fleeing from us or maybe hiding in wait trying to hurt us. At nighttime, we could also look and find, you could see this is another shot that shows the heat sensors and how we would be able to use it during nighttime. And we also can use this system for major crime scenes and or major traffic accident scenes as well. You can see it shows the heat of the car. This is actually a scenario in which an officer is ambushed. So this is just training from recently, earlier this week, and ways in how we're going to be able to use this program to enhance the safety of not only our officers, but our community as well. So during my time as police chief, one of the things that I've tried to do is instill hope in people. I've worked for the city since 1995. I have seen the ebbs and flows of police work and the crime picture that we've had here. And I knew that when I became the police chief, I wanted to instill hope in people and help them realize that Antioch is moving in the right direction, that it's becoming a safer community. And I think about this quote from Oprah Winfrey. It said, "The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude." And that perception that a lot of people ask me about is what I'm trying to change, and I'm trying to get them to realize that there are a lot of wonderful things going on in this city. There are a lot of wonderful people who live in this city. And if we continue to work on it, we will change perception. It's not easy. It has not been quick. But as we all know, anything that's valuable and worth it does not come easy. And so we're going to continue to work on changing the perception of the people, the perception that people have of our community, and we're going to try and do it through positive relationships and continuing to improve the public safety in our community. And with that, I will say thank you. I did not go over my time.
I'm so sorry, everyone's giving you a hard time.
There was an over-under of how long I was going to take, so.
Thank you so much, T, for everything that you and your team do on a daily basis. We are so grateful. Well, this is odd. We have time for the next speaker. Our city manager, Ron Bernal. Sorry, I had to get one in. Our next speaker is our city manager, Mr. Ron Bernal. Ron has been Antioch city manager since 2017 and has over 34 years of municipal government experience. Ron has a degree in civil engineering from UC Davis and is a California registered civil engineer. Ron began his career in Antioch in 1998 and still loves Antioch and the adventures that await him each day. When not at City Hall or around the community, Ron enjoys spending time with his wife Irma, children and their spouses, and his 3 incredible grandchildren, Jackson, Isaiah, and newly arrived Kinsley. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ron Bernal. Do you want this in here, or do you want...
Thank you. I didn't know how long I was going to get to speak today, so I prepared anything from 5 minutes to 50 minutes. So we'll try to keep it around 15. But I just, while we're getting this set up, I just want to thank Chief Brooks. We have an amazing chief. For those of you who don't know it, he's passionate. He's really smart. He mostly loves and cares for our community and for his police force. And so, thank you. So I just, T, I just want to thank you for your commitment to our community and just for caring. So thank you. Appreciate you, T. So Antioch, we are on the move. Antioch, opportunity lives here. Antioch, the best is yet to come. Does everybody here believe that? Yes? Well, I do too. And I believe that the way that we're going to accomplish this vision for Antioch's success going forward is through our relationship. It's through things like what we're doing here today, meeting together. And I was at a reception yesterday for our new CEO of Sutter Delta Medical Center, Sherry Hickman. Sherry, you want to raise your hand back there? And so just getting to talk for a couple minutes with this amazing woman was very encouraging to me. She's has ideas on how to improve Sutter Delta, make it a better facility, better experience, but also becoming involved in our community. And so people like Sherry that want to be involved and want to be a part of making Antioch better are really important, not just professionally, but personally. We also were at I guess you call it the induction of our new postmaster, Frank Estigoy, last month. And so he as well is interested in seeing the post office become a better facility and seeing that place have better quality service. And so that's the type of relationships that we're trying to develop here in the city so that we can see us all work together to see Antioch become the best place that it can be. So I'm going to also real quickly just want to thank you all for being here today. This is really important to me personally to know that there's this many people that are interested in what's going on in our city and just being able to communicate some of the things that are happening. So this is a slide about some of the ordinances that the city council has passed over the last 2 years. And so in my world, I kind of look at things in 2-year chunks. And so we have a 2-year budget. We're coming to the end of the first 2-year budget. And so I'm going to run through quickly some of the accomplishments that the city council has done in the past 2 years so you can get a flavor for that, and then touch briefly on where we're going before Mayor Wright takes over with this. So in this 2-year time frame, the city council's approved a lot of different ordinances, as you can see, and they're mostly focused on making a better quality of life for our city. Regarding our staffing, which is very important, the city council has approved some new positions now that our funding has become more stable here in the city. And so besides adding police officers and inspectors, we've also added some important positions to our city. And so Thomas Lloyd Smith, if you'd stand up real quickly, this is our new city attorney. We've been without a full-time city attorney for the past 2 years, and so Thomas has joined us within the last 3 months. He's doing an amazing job, and he's really going to take us to some new places. So super excited about having Thomas and working with them, and already seeing some good results. Kwame Reed, our new economic development director. Where are you, Kwame? Stand up there. Kwame, the city council approved economic development director. So Kwame is. Am I still on? Kwame is bringing some leadership and some direction to that department, which is very important. So we're super excited about having him. And then John Blank, you want to stand up real quick, John? He's our new public works director, city engineer. John comes with a lot of complex project experience, and so he is bringing just some great expertise to the city that we didn't have before when I was in that role. Fortunately, he's here. And then also he understands the vision of the city council is to make our city improved and look better. And so he's very committed to that thing as well. I'd also like to ask real quickly if the rest of the city staff that's here could raise your hands so we could see who's all here. We can't do any of this without our amazing city staff. I want to call out Nancy Kaiser real quick and the Parks and Recreation staff that do this amazing job on this facility, the water park, the senior center. There's a lot of different things that they do, from kids that are from newborn to seniors. And so I just want to thank you for what you do in all of that on a daily basis. Thank you. Hey, I see Supervisor Burgess just slipped in here. Hey, Diane. And then we also I just want one more. I want to thank my senior executive assistant, Susan Vasquez, who without her, I would be a mess. I'm very blessed to have her helping, not just me. She does these PowerPoints and just does an amazing job. So thank you, Susan. Just some of the projects we're working on real quick. I'm sure all of us heard about maybe we haven't, about the brackish water desal plant. It's going to be a $65 million, 6 million gallon per day clean water project that's going to allow us to take salty water from the river when it's not high enough quality and turn it into fresh drinking water. That's going to be an economic development driver for us, as well as giving us stability, reliable water when the next big drought comes. And so that's going to be something that's going to set Antioch apart from pretty much every other city in California. We also have the Northeast Annexation Sewer and Water Project that's going to put sewer in Wilbur Avenue and also up Vieira. So it's not just going to allow for economic development of that area, but also providing sewer and water for those homes in the Vieira area that don't have, they're on septic in wells right now. Those are just a couple projects we're doing with that. Regarding plans and studies, the biggest one we've accomplished in the last year is our vision and strategic plan 2019 through 2029. That's the city council's casting the vision and their priorities for the next 10 years. And so that's something that we're going to be working on. You actually have a condensed version of it on your table there if you'd like to take that with you and get a little bit more information. We're just super excited about having a clear direction from the city council and where we want to head in the years to come. We also have our downtown specific plan was recently completed, and that's going to allow some more flexibility in how our downtown is redeveloped, giving a lot more mixed use opportunities. So we're excited about that to see more development happen there. And then we also worked with the golf course on a solar project as well. And so that's also pretty exciting. I'm jumping through that, sorry. As far as initiatives and measures, one important one is we're going to district elections in 2020, and that means for that first election, our mayor and 4 of our city council members, all 4 of them, will all be running for re-election. So that'll be an interesting time to watch. The other thing I want to mention is Measure W. That is a 1-cent sales tax that was overwhelmingly voted on by our residents in November. It went into effect this April. It will bring in approximately $400 million to the city over the next 20 years, which is significant funding for us to do the things that we're trying to do. It's going to create financial stability for us, which is very important because there isn't a downturn in the economy coming. It's just a matter of when, and this will help us weather that storm when it comes. And so that's something very exciting, and it's also giving us the ability to improve our quality of life and our safety around the city of Antioch as well. So that's something that's very important to us. These are a couple of new developments and businesses that have come to Antioch. I'm just going to identify a couple of them real quick. One of them is the AmCal project, which is 394 affordable housing and senior units that's just been approved by City Council, as well as the Tabora Gardens project, which is for veterans and very low-income individuals. Those are almost 500 new affordable housing units that are coming to the city of Antioch, which, as we know, is desperately needed. So besides the 2,000 units or so that are on the book for the market rate development, this is going to provide some opportunities for our lower income folks in Antioch, which are really important and necessary. The other project that I just wanted to mention real quickly is we have a Best Buy that's come into Antioch from Brentwood. They're over in Slatton Ranch. They're very happy with that location. They're doing very well. So we're super happy and blessed to have them. And then we also have a Tesla charging center, which is kind of unique for Antioch out at Slatton Ranch. And Costco is actually expanding their fuel pumps, which may seem like a small thing, but whenever a large corporation like Costco is investing more in your community, it's a good sign. So we have indicators that Antioch is moving forward. We're seeing some people wanting to reinvest. We also had the Comfort Suites out there on Mahogany Way. They rehabilitated 119 of their hotel units, spent $6 million, and that's another big win for Antioch to have one of the nicest hotels now in East Contra Costa County. Regional efforts, as I spoke about earlier, partnerships and cooperation is super important. We're working with Supervisor Burgess's office, the other cities around our region, and we believe that working together in East Contra Costa County and along the northern waterfront, we're going to be better. And so we don't necessarily look at it as we have to have all the business come to Antioch. If East Contra Costa County is successful, Brentwood, Pittsburgh, Oakley, then we're going to be successful as well. So that's our vision. We have working groups. We have the Delta 6, which is the mayors and city managers and supervisors of our region. We have the Northern Waterfront Initiative. We have the East Contra Costa Jobs Corridor Working Group, which is working on branding East Contra Costa. So we're working together with our neighboring cities, and I'm a big advocate of that to try to have regional cooperation and do better together. As far as events and community things that we're doing, we're trying to bring the community together more. And so we have the Food Trucks Thursdays, which have been very successful. If you haven't been to it, they had a big truck day off of that. The concert series Down on the Water. We had a Martin Luther King Day of Service this year that was very successful. And so we're looking at doing more things to involve our community together so that we can work together to improve it, to make it better, to celebrate and be together. Litigation, we don't like it, but it's necessary sometimes. These two cases on the left are with the Department of Water Resources regarding our intake at the river. We believe that we're being harmed by the Water Fix project and by failure to meet the terms of some agreements we have with the Department of Water Resources. So we're in litigation to protect this $80 to $100 million asset, which is probably one of the biggest and most important in our community. As far as communication, to me, it's one of the most important things we do. It's changing continually how we best communicate with our residents and internally. And so we're working really hard to make sure that our communication is as good as it can be. We have Antioch on the Move, which is a positive website, delivers positive news, weekly updates that I put out of my office that tells everybody what's happening in the community. We also have C-Click Fix. It's an app you can put on your phone where you can report problems in the community, which we encourage people to use. So that's another way that you can get constant feedback from the city on where people are with that sort of thing. And the other one, the Quality of Life Subcommittee. So we, when we were doing the Measure W effort last year, we had a Quality of Life Subcommittee. We had joined the conversation. We polled 800 people. We reached out to the community, and we intend to do more of that to make sure that we're meeting the needs of what our community wants and expects. Enhanced services. The city council approved additional day of library service. They approved opening up the second floor counter, community development for building department, things like that. We're trying to provide more and better service. We have proactive police department patrols. We have proactive code enforcement. And so we're just trying to find ways to better serve our community, provide better service, enhance our landscaping. So the council is very committed to those efforts. Antioch City Council ad hoc subcommittees. These are what the council's formed. The new city council has formed since they've been on board. And I just want a little shout out to our city council. They're very diverse in their viewpoints on things, but they also unify when it comes to the point of having to make decisions. And that's what's really important to keep our city moving forward. So a couple of the subcommittees I just want to mention. One of them is the Youth Services Task Force Subcommittee. There's a desire with Measure W money to see us as a city be able to help our youth between the hours of 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon when some of them don't have parents around, some of them don't have things to do. And so the city is actively taking a role in trying to determine what's the best way to invest money in that effort to provide more things for our youth and their families to do. So that's something that we're working on currently. We also have the Homeless Encampment Task Force, which is going to be starting up on May the 30th. We all know that we have a homeless situation, a homeless problem in the city of Antioch. Actually, Antioch has the largest homeless population in Contra Costa County. And so we, at a local level, besides working with the county homeless services, we're working on what we can do locally to try to find out what the needs are specifically and then how we're going to address them. So we're working with the county, Lavana Martin right now, try to put a care facility in Antioch that will provide a warming center and services for folks. East Contra Costa County, with 45% of the homeless, has no facilities currently. So that's very important for us to keep moving forward on and collaborate on. And then the hope is also that would expand into transitional housing, maybe some permanent housing, and really try to work cooperatively to find a solution to that need in our community. The other one that's kind of going to be fun for us is the Sesquicentennial Subcommittee, and that means that we are having our 150th anniversary in 2022 as a city. We incorporated in 1872. Super excited about planning a year-long event for that. We want to get the whole community involved, and we just want to see it be a big celebration that'll that the whole city can get involved in. So that's something that we're starting early on. Council's committed some funding to get that thing going. We're hoping to bring fireworks back downtown on the river and just have some really fun events and concerts and things that people can come to draw the community together. Finally, we have our vision and strategic plan, which I mentioned is on the table. And so really what that is an effort to do is bring quality of life to the city of Antioch. And so the city council is committed to seeing us be a greener community, to seeing us provide jobs, to seeing us continue to improve. And so this is the blueprint for it. And as I said, you're welcome to take that back with you today if you'd like to take a closer look at it. So in closing, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out today. As I said, I really appreciate and we appreciate you all being a part of listening to what's happening in the community. And again, opportunity lives here. That's our new tagline for the city of Antioch and our branding effort that's going around the Bay Area. Antioch is on the move and our best days are ahead of us. Does everyone believe that? All right, so do I. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ron, and thank you to all of city staff. We appreciate everything that you guys do for us every day. Our final speaker is Mayor Dr. Sean Wright. Dr. Wright moved to Antioch in 2001 with his wife Lanny and their 5 children. The move was made with the intention of opening his chiropractic office and raising their family. Their family of 7 have been proud citizens of Antioch ever since. As CEO of the Antioch Chamber of Commerce for over 5 years, Sean led with vision, passion, and inspiration, bringing the Antioch Chamber out from the brink of bankruptcy and back to the table as a regional force. In 2011, Dr. Wright was recognized as Antioch Citizen of the Year for his service to the community. He is the executive director for the East Contra Costa Business Education Alliance and has been president of the Antioch Chichibu Sister City organization for the past 8 years. He is also the co-founder of a regional economic development collaborative called EC Squared. Dr. Wright is a board member for Opportunity Junction, sits on the Business Advisory Board for Antioch High School Pathways and Deer Valley High Business Pathway, and was awarded 2016 Champion on the Rise Award for his work with education. Dr. Wright owns and operates the Wright Start Chiropractic here in Antioch. In December 2016, Dr. Wright was sworn in as Mayor of Antioch. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mayor Wright.
Well, thank you for all coming out today. This is always a fun event to be able to share with you the vision of where we're going, where we're at. I think we have a phenomenal team right now. Chief Brooks leading our police department, Ron Bernal leading our city department. What a team to be able to work with these two men and be able to drive with vision to a place that we all want Antioch to be. Recently, if you look at the sheet that's on your page, Antioch has chosen a new vision. And simply that new vision, simply stated, is Antioch is a desired destination in the Bay Area. This is a place that people want to move to. This is a place that others want to become a part of. And that's what we're driving towards, is Antioch being that place, that great place. One of the things, I know Chief today did a shortened version of his talk, and we appreciate that so there was time. But the truth is, to give him more time allows him to really share where he's going and what he's done. And he has done some phenomenal things. He didn't talk today at all about community policing and the vision that he had when he came in 2 years ago and brought community policing and what that means for our community, what that means for our officers, what that means in the Sycamore Corridor, what that means to those families. What that means to those families is really, right, I went to one of the churches and I was talking at the church, and one of the moms after the church, I was talking about community policing. And she came up to me after the meeting and she said, Mayor Wright, you talk about community policing. I live in Sycamore. And I was watching this police officer go door to door, knocking on doors, and I was trying to figure out who he's trying to catch. And so I went up to him and I said, excuse me, can I help you? And he said, yeah, I'm just walking door to door to meet the neighbors. That's incredible. That is community police. That's what we need as a nation, right? Police officers that care about their community, that want to get to know their neighborhood. Chief Brooks has brought that, instilled that in his police department. And they, as a whole, have bought in and are doing that. And thank you for that vision. Thank you for your driving them. We have been trying to hire and give him the resources that he needs to be able to increase his force. We are now at 105 police officers. That is phenomenal. Ron came in and has done just stalwart work. And I want to thank Ron, and I want to thank the rest of staff. Because the truth is, we have a council that is running a marathon at a sprinter's pace. We are. We are asking so much of our staff, and we're not slowing down. And our staff is rising to the occasion and doing so much for us. And we thank you. We thank our staff for all that you're doing. And we know that we're asking a lot, but the truth is our citizens deserve it. Our citizens deserve for Antioch to be the place that people want to move. And we've got to keep driving that. We've got to keep moving towards that direction. And so, as a citizenry, we asked our citizens, are you willing to tax yourselves? I had some people that were complaining, we don't have this, we don't have that. And I looked and I said, are you aware that we pay way less taxes than our surrounding communities? Look at your property tax bill. It is far under what Oakley, Brentwood, these other communities pay. You get what you pay for. So either you need to tax yourself on your property tax or you need to tax yourself on your sales tax, but we need the resource from a money standpoint to be able to drive this city to where we're going to. And so we asked our community with Measure W, will you tax yourself an additional half-cent, so a full 1 cent sales tax for the next 20 years to be able to give us the resources that we need to be able to drive to that future. 2/3 of our community said yes. We trust you, we understand that you need it, and we're going to move in that direction. So I say thank you to our community. Whether you voted for it or not, thank you, because you're going to pay for it, right? Thank you. Because this is going to give us the resources to increase our police department even further. We are pushing, one of my goals as the mayor is to push our police department to get to the point where we have 1 per 1,000 police officers. It's not where we should be, but it's where we can afford. That would be 115 police officers sworn. We're pushing in the budget to be able to push towards that. Increase our code enforcement department so that we have more code enforcement officers going out and making sure that our neighborhoods, those neighborhoods that maybe their weeds are going or they're parking things they shouldn't be, we have proactive code enforcement officers that are out making sure that our areas are cleaner, that our neighborhoods are places that we're proud of. Increase youth services to be able to drive forward and get to the point where we have the most youth. We have right now the most youth in Contra Costa County living right here in Antioch. They're here. Unfortunately, we don't have the jobs that their parents need to be able to work and live work locally. And so they get on the road at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. They don't get home till 7 o'clock at night. And so we have all these youth who get out of school at 3 o'clock, and what do? Even good youth with time on their hands will make mistakes. And they do. So we have to look at what can we do? What can we do to drive to give those youth the opportunity? So we're in talks. We're in talks with the mall. There's a phenomenal opportunity at the mall that I would love to see happen. The old 24 Hours Fitness and turn that into a Boys and Girls Club. We're talking to Boys and Girls Club about what that could look like. We're talking about 3 areas in town that we could drive and really have drop-in centers for our youth after school. I would love to see 24-hour, but something on that side of town, right, for that area. Something right here. In fact, right here, right, as an opportunity, a drop-in center, a place where our youth are welcomed. And then we're working with one of our churches on the other side of town on 18th Street, Templo Santo. Templo Santo right now, they bought the old gym that was there. They turned it into a church. In the back of that, they're turning into indoor soccer fields and indoor basketball courts and rooms with computers for tutoring. And they want to open that. They're looking hopefully to open that by the beginning of next year. So we'll have 3 drop-in centers. That's the vision, right? To have 3 drop-in centers. No matter where you live in town, to be able to have a place for every one of the youth to be able to go to feel welcome, to have mentors, to be able to give them the influence that they need to be able to go to the next level as youth. Because of Measure W, we're going to be able to push and drive all of these things to be able to drive us toward that future that we want to see. And so as we drive in that direction, I sit down with a lot of people. I have lots of lunches, maybe way too many, and you can probably tell. But I meet with lots of people, and as I sit down and I share my vision of where we're going, what we're doing, usually I'll share all this positive stuff and everything. And at the end of the meeting, they'll look at me and they'll say, Mayor Wright, what keeps you up at night? Really, what do you worry about? And there's two things that I worry about. There's two things that I'm like, I haven't figured out the solution. One is jobs, right? I talk about all those parents who get up and leave too early and come home too late. Jobs. How do we create the jobs that we need right here locally so that more of our community can work where they live? And today I'm going to go through in my presentation, talk about a lot of the things that we're doing to try to drive forward to be able to create those jobs. And the second thing that I say in that is the homeless. Those are the two things that keep me up at night. And the homeless, we have a rising affordability problem in the Bay Area, right? Housing in the Bay Area. And so as we look at the homeless situation, these pictures on the left of the starfish story. Far too often I find myself as the individual getting frustrated because there's too many starfish. I look and I go, man, how do you solve this problem? How do you help? And I find myself getting frustrated that no matter what we do and what we try, there's just too many starfish. And just recently, I had some friends and some others come up to me and remind me that, yeah, maybe you can't solve all of the starfish, but whatever you do, it's important for this one. And we have members of our community that are in need, that need help. Just Saturday, this is a true story that we are dealing with right now. Just Saturday, one of the members of our community was parked in her Honda Pilot with 5 children at 7-Eleven. One of my good friends drove to 7-Eleven that morning. He didn't know her. He looked inside, he saw her, he went inside, he bought his stuff. Later on that day, he went back to 7-Eleven. She was still there. He knocked on her window. He lowered it down. He said, "Can I help you?" She said, "I've lost hope in all humanity. Been here all day and nobody will." He said, "What do you need? What can I help you with?" I said, "My car won't start. Homeless with 5 kids." He tried to jump start her car. He couldn't. He went out and bought her a battery. Came back and he put the battery in her car. He got her phone number. He said, "How can we help?" Called me on Monday and he said, "Sean, here's the things that were done. Here's how do we help this lady? She's a mom with 5 kids." I said, "Well, are any of her kids in school?" "Only one of her kids is old enough to be in school." I said, "Have you called the school district yet? They have somebody who can help the homeless there." I said, "Have you called 211? He says, "Yeah, she's afraid to make phone calls because she's afraid that once she calls and gets in the system, they'll take her kids." So, well, let me make some phone calls. Let me see what I can do. We started making phone calls. I called Levana Martin with the county. Levana Martin said, "Please, whatever you do, tell her that no matter what, we won't take her away from the kids. That's not the goal. We want to keep her together." Well, the problem is she said she's got a phone that's dead, right? So she's trying to get a phone, and how do you get a hold of this person who doesn't have a home now? They went home and they call it Facebook stalking. They looked her up on Facebook to see if her story played out. Every bit of it played out. Well, last night, 12 o'clock at night, that lady and her 5 kids were at my friend's house, spending the night. Get a place to stay for the first time. Today, Levana Martin's sending the core team member out to interview them, try to find out what they can do to help. This is a real problem taking place in our community, and how do we help? Yesterday, I got another phone call from another member of our community who said, Mayor Wright, I need your help. On July 21st, I will be homeless unless you help me. Her house, she lives on Gentrytown. There's 12 townhomes that caught fire about a year ago. It's been almost a year. Her insurance only pays for her to stay in an apartment for a year while they fix it. The problem is oftentimes it takes 12 to 18 months for the insurance to even give the money to be able to fix the property. She says on July 21st, if those properties aren't rebuilt, I own the property, but they haven't fixed it. If it's not redone, I don't have a home anymore. And so I thank those that have helped me to readjust and rethink and look at, yes, it is about the one starfish, even though we might be frustrated that all of them can't be helped. And so this is one of the things. What are we doing as a community? What are we doing as council to be able to drive forward? We are working. We're trying, right? We've got the care center. We've been working with the county and trying to be able to give them land to be able to build a care center. The problem, see, is we are in East Contra Costa, and what that means is that we have no infrastructure, period. We don't have infrastructure. So when the governor comes out and says there's a crisis and we need to give money, and $6 million goes to Contra Costa County, they count up how many homeless are in your community, and they give you a proportion of the $6 million according to how many homeless you have. Well, that's wonderful because we have the most homeless, therefore we get the majority of the money. Here's the problem. We have no infrastructure, which means every dime that we get goes to pay to build the infrastructure that we don't have. Whereas the other communities have the infrastructure, so the money they get goes to programs to help those in their community. I'm sorry, it's not fair. How do we lobby? How do we continue to work with our supervisor, with our legislators to say, time out? You have to treat us differently because we don't have the infrastructure we need to be able to support the programs that the other communities already have. So if we diversify and we give the money just according to where the numbers are, it doesn't get us back up to where we need to be. It keeps us behind the game. We've got to keep fighting. Now, I'm not going to say $3 million is bad because that's what we're going to put into potentially building this care center, a 24-hour care center that the homeless can be helped, that they can have a place to go. They can be hopefully get met up with the people that they need. We've got that. We've got Lamar Thorpe, Councilmember Thorpe and Mayor Pro Tem Joy Motz are working on an ad hoc committee to be able to work with the homeless and the homeless advocates to say, what are the needs? What are the needs out there and how do we help? That'll be May 30th. They're going to meet. That's a full day event, right? With all kinds of different people in different industries and whatnot to be able to look and see what can be done. We've got the Family Justice Center that's coming to be able to help. That's coming next to Rayleigh's. That's going to be a wonderful opportunity for a new opportunity for our communities. There's some great things that are happening. We're driving forward. Hopefully, you like me won't get lost in the starfish, the fact that we can't help them all. But maybe we can keep fighting, and as we keep fighting, we can help the one. And let's just keep that. Try to remember that. Something that I've forgotten, and I'm trying to remember again, that we can always, that helping the one is truly important. So what keeps me up at night? The homeless. How do we help? What do we do? Jobs. So Antioch has recently hired an economic development director. We've said we care about this. We think this is such an important thing. We've got to bring jobs. So we've hired Kwame Reed. We brought him in. We said we have somebody now for the first time in I don't know how long. We have somebody whose job it is to go out and try to find those businesses that might be able to come here or support those up-and-comers to be able to drive, to be able to create the jobs that we need for our community. We've hired. So then we've put some money into a branding campaign called Opportunity Lives Here. And I keep seeing people who go, well, you're wasting money on marketing. For those of us who run businesses, you either market and grow or you don't market and die. If you want businesses to come this direction, you've got to market to them. You've got to tell them that there's something here. And so BART just opened up last year, right? BART opened up. What an opportunity. What an opportunity. Why? Because now, no matter where you go in the Bay Area, there's the Antioch train. It says it right in San Francisco. You look up, it says Antioch right there. You get on the train, it says Antioch train. So now, here's my question to you, right? Because oftentimes I keep hearing people that look at this and say, well, you can't put lipstick on a pig. Right? Oh, you're just marketing. You're just putting lipstick on a pig. And I look at him and I say, okay, thank you. I understand what you think about Antioch. And the truth is, if that's what you think about Antioch, I'm not going to change it. I don't think Antioch's a pig. I think Antioch's got beautiful hiking trails, Black Diamond Mines. I think we've got a beautiful golf course. I think we've got a beautiful waterfront. I think we have wonderful neighborhoods that are safe. This is Antioch for me. And the truth is, I just have to tell the story. Now, here's the question that I'll then follow up with. Those people who live in San Francisco or other parts of the Bay Area, what do they think about Antioch? And those same people who look at me and go, you're just putting lipstick on a pig? They go, well, they think crime. I say, no, you don't understand. Those people that live over there, when you ask them about Antioch, guess what? They don't think about Antioch. They don't. They think that, there's homeless downtown and there's crime. They don't think about Antioch. So there's a wide open vessel right now that we can market to, that we can brand. When they see Antioch on BART, we want a picture of BART saying, opportunity lives here. Opportunity works here. Opportunity plays here. We want them to start getting that message so that every time they get on BART, they go, oh yeah, that's opportunity. Antioch, that's where opportunity is. And then when they start to think about where am I going to open my next job? Where am I going to move my business because I want to find someplace that's affordable? They'll think about Antioch. And so we're driving that message. We're investing money into marketing to be able to drive that wonderful message, to get people all over the Bay Area to think of us in a different way, to think of us at all, to be frank. To be able to think this is the place that they can come because we need their businesses. We need them. Now, some people will say, well, yeah, but Sean, you've got empty space right here already, right? You got office space. Well, if you understand the economics of it, some people will say, well, how come you don't fill your office space? The reason we don't fill our office space is because if you need office space and you are looking at Antioch or Walnut Creek, do you know where it's cheaper to rent? Walnut Creek. Oh, no, Mayor Wright, you got to be, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. Why would it be cheaper in Walnut Creek? Because the Walnut Creek business and that building has been open for the last 60 years. It's paid off, and it doesn't have to pay construction costs and everything else. If you build a new office building in Antioch, you got to cover labor, office building, permits, fees, all of those things, and by the time you're done, you're at $3.50 to $4 a square foot. I can get an old Class B office space in Walnut Creek right now for under $2, right about $2. Why would I come out here? The economics don't work. We've got to change the economics. We've got to drive to the point where we can create that affordability out here, not just in our homes, but in our office space as well. Once we make that affordability work, they will come out here because guess what? Their workers are here. We provide the workers to the Bay Area. How do I know? Because their children are here from 3 to 6 in the afternoon looking for things to do. This is our opportunity. Opportunity truly does live here. This is the branding effort that we're moving, and I'm excited about this effort and where we're going with this. When you think about it, investments, right? Often people will ask, well, the problem is you got to clean it up before investments will come, right? That's the common refrain that people believe. You've got to clean it up before investments will come. I say hogwash. You've got to show a developer or an investor that there's money to be made and they'll invest. They will. Now, how do I know? Mahogany, when you look at this and you see the Panda Express, the Comfort Inn, you see the next to it, the Habit, you've got a lot of money that's been invested in there. A lot of money. Now, there's other money that's being ready to be invested in our community, other opportunities, and they will come if we show them that there's an opportunity. We make it easy for them to go through our second floor, our city hall, to be able to get the work done. We make it that way, and they'll come. And we're working on that. I'm excited about where that's going. The Noakes property, what we've done in the last year, so right there as you go down Auto Center right now, you've got all those all that stuff on the left. You got those cars, you got that. And then you got that AAA building and all that vacant space there. Now, Mr. Noakes came to city council and basically said, hey, listen, I would like to expand my dealership, and I'd like to bring in an Infiniti dealership. Now, way before me, city council had the wisdom to be able to work a tax sharing agreement with Mr. Noakes to be able to have him invest money into Antioch to be able to clean up Auto Center. And that's been a windfall for Antioch. That's our largest sales tax generator right there. And so he came and said, okay, I would like to expand, but I'd like you to do another tax sharing agreement with me to spend. I'm going to spend $12 million. I'm looking for you to contribute from the taxes that we generate from it, $3 million to help offset that. And I had a lot of people who, as we were looking at it, say, oh, you guys shouldn't. He's already rich. You shouldn't be giving him more money. I understand, but there's other options. See, he could go into Pittsburgh, into Century Plaza. There's more land there. And so we worked a tax sharing agreement with him. He's going to clean up. That whole thing is going to be cleaned up from the freeway all the way down to 10th Street where the AMPM is going next to the baseball fields. That whole thing is going to be cleaned up. Not only is that whole thing going to be cleaned up, but it's going to be sales tax generating for our community at a 1% sales tax for years to come. Now, right across the street from Costco, Granite Expo, right? You've seen the Granite Expo. And some people go, well, what's that? And I look and I go, oh, that's exciting. Why is that so exciting? That's all high dollar sales tax items that are going in there. From all over East Contra Costa, you want granite, you want cabinets, you want those kinds of things. It's going to bring them to that area. That whole region's going to get excited. So we've got the Noakes shares sales tax agreement that's coming, which is exciting. Downtown, Smith's Landing. How many of you guys have been to Smith's Landing? Phenomenal. Great experience. Beautiful location. Sean McCauley, what a great job he did. Now, not only did he invest in that land, he then went into downtown. He bought the old Antioch Police Officers Association building, and he turned that into another restaurant called Guadalajara. Now, Guadalajara to me is a game changer. And here's why. Guadalajara is open 7 days a week, breakfast to dinner. And what does that mean? Right now, there's other restaurants and other things downtown which are great, and we should help them all. But to have one downtown that's open 7 days a week, breakfast to dinner, means that no matter what, if I know I want Mexican food, do I have to know what their hours are? Not anymore. I just have to go downtown. And you start to go downtown. Now, they've been very successful. It's been great. Now, my goal is to see 10 restaurants downtown, right? 10 restaurants. Smith's Landing, Solid Rock Cafe, Guadalajara, all of these restaurants. I want 10 restaurants downtown. You say, well, 10? What's magical about 10? Well, you have to have enough restaurants so that on Friday night, when you're ready to go out with your husband or wife, you go, where do you want to go tonight? And you go, I don't know. Let's drive downtown and see what sounds good. But you have to have enough there in order to do that. Right now, we do the same thing. We just go to the streets of Brentwood. We don't know where we're going. We drive to the streets of Brentwood. For what? I don't know. When I get there, I'll figure out what I want. We need to do the exact same thing for downtown. We need to get to that point where we've got enough there that on a Friday and a Saturday night, music playing at Solid Rock, you got something going on, just that kind of a feeling, that kind of event, that kind of downtown. We're moving towards there. It's exciting. We've got lighting. I mean, we've lit downtown. If you drive downtown now, you're like, whoa, it's too bright. We want it to be light. We want it to feel that way. We're adding music to downtown. We want that to be a place that people go and feel like they can walk around and enjoy the water. We're working on, right now, a ferry service downtown. We're working now. Everybody hears about WEDA and the old ferry service and the government, subsidized ferry. We're not getting that. I'm sorry. If we get it, it's 20, 30, 40 years off. Why aren't we getting it? Because, in order to get the one that they just built in, where did they build that? Richmond? It's like a 60% subsidy on rider share every year. Measure J promised that they would cover the difference between running it and what the actual toll box would recover. That's 60%. Add another one at 60% and add another one at 60%. You get to the point where it's too tax burden heavy. Now, we're talking, Kwame and our economic development director team is talking to private services that are looking right now at Martinez and be able to come out here and do smaller, faster boats that can be done on the private level, be able to charge people to get there. So we're talking to them. We're excited about that, and we're working with them. That's something that we hope to see. This will always be my view of downtown. This is what I'm pushing for in downtown. What does that mean? I would love to see this kind of a river walk, right? Where you go downtown and you just stroll along the river. That can happen. And we're working, we've actually, as council, asked staff to devise a plan as to what would we have to do in order to make this work. And so we're looking at that as council. How do we drive this? How do we make this kind of thing work? And then we're looking over by the marina at what could be built over in that area. What an opportunity downtown to be able to create views and that wonderful walkable community in downtown. I'm excited about our downtown and where we can go. Now, this isn't going to happen in the next 2 years. It's not going to happen in the next 3 to 4 years. It's not going to happen probably in the next 7 to 8 years. This is a 10-year project, right? A 20-year project. But the truth is, you've got to see it and you've got to start planning for it. Otherwise, in 20 years, you're going, what are we doing for downtown? We've got to drive it. We've got to drive it now. You start with the restaurants. You start driving some condos down there. You start driving that opportunity. There's some phenomenal things I'm excited about. Summersville area. So the Summersville area, an area that we would all agree maybe needs some work, right? And so as we work on Summersville, we just approved a $32 million apartment overhaul in that area. So that's $32 million. We're working with the owner of Food Max, who's come in with a project to be able to level Food Max. And once it's leveled, to be able to build some apartments there. About a $100 million project. We're looking at some opportunities, some investment in that community to be able to drive some of this stuff. We're working with the downtown merchants in what's called a PBID. So a PBID is a business improvement district. What it means is basically businesses agree to tax themselves. They control the money. So it doesn't come to us to be able to tell them what to do. They control their own money. They can use it for security. They can use it to upgrade landscaping and do whatever they want with it. So we're working downtown merchants to be able to do the PBID. We worked with the Antioch Chamber of Commerce on the St. Mary's project. So we've partnered with St. Mary's, our closest four-year university, to be able to use their seniors to have a look at downtown, not downtown, but at the Summersville area and be able to devise some plans around what we could do there. We've also talked to the mall ownership about if you were to change the mall, what would you change it to? And they're right now have their architects working on what the future of the mall could be. I'm excited to be able to see what the future is. We sat down with them and we said, listen, sky's the limit. Come back. Let us know. We want to work with you. We want to see that kind of an investment. We're working on these things in that area. The opportunity zone. So if you look, these are the opportunity zones right now. For those of you who don't know what opportunity zones is part of the new the tax incentive program that was created by the new administration. And what it basically does is says, if you invest in a low-income area, you have the potential to be able to invest there, make changes, and basically save capital gains for the next 10 years. So a lot of the 1031 exchanges where people 1031 exchange, they're thinking about 1031 exchanging it into one of these, and then in 10 years being able to recoup and get out without having to 1031 exchange again. That's basically what the math of this is. Now, what is this doing? It's driving. If you look at that area right here, this is the BART area. So the BART area is in an opportunity zone. We've got investors right now that are sniffing and looking at it because it's in an opportunity zone. They're sniffing around. They're looking at it because it's an opportunity zone. And if they buy it, guess what? It's not a buy and build. It's a buy, build, and then hold for the next 10 years. So they're invested in the community, not just in the short run, but in the long run, because they've got to hold it to be able to recoup that tax savings over the course of 10 years. The sooner they get in, the better for them. So these opportunity zones. What's this area right here? This is the Wilbur Corridor right here. This is the Summersville town area. This is the Sycamore area. That's what we're looking at right now, these opportunity zones. And there are investors that are looking at these, an exciting opportunity to be able to come to our community. So the Northern Waterfront, we've been working, for those that came last Friday, we had the Northern Waterfront Initiative. We're working with the county, Diane Burgess, Supervisor Federal Glover, to be able to look at the entire Northern Waterfront and be able to drive jobs and create jobs in our community. DuPont, which is in Oakley, has 100 flat acres that they've already got some fish on the hook, right? They're trying to reel them in right now. They're hoping by the summer they can announce who this big fish is. I don't even know. I've talked to the council member from city council member from Oakley. They know the name, but they won't share it until it's a done deal. Because it's one of those where if the deal falls through, but potentially 100 flat acres with a huge, big name company coming to this area, which would be really good for us. In Antioch, we've put a cannabis overlay district in that area. What does that mean? We've approved the ability for cannabis manufacturing and distribution to come into that area. There are companies that are coming up from LA right now and looking. Why? Because Antioch is central to Sacramento, the Central Valley, and the Bay Area. You want to do manufacturing distribution, this is the place to do it. This gets you into Sacramento, this gets you into the Central Valley, this gets you right into the Bay Area. This is where they're looking, and it's exciting to see what that's going to potentially do for our community. BART is coming. BART came. We've got a couple of projects, the Vieira Railroad. So right now, one of the holdups for BART is that there's a railroad there, right? We have to get over that railroad. And so that's about a $40 million project. So hopefully, with it being an opportunity zone, working with some of these developers coming with big money, there's a potential that we could build that railroad crossing and see what that does. That's one of the holdups of that whole project right there. We're talking to Brossamer and Wall, who owns the property, CCTA, and BART right now through that. And like I say, I've sat down with investors who represent big investors for opportunity zones, and they're looking at that property. They're talking to Brossamer and Wall right now about potentially striking up a deal to be able to work with them to build on that property. The Wildflower Project, which is happening right now on the corner there of Hillcrest. Awesome project that's going in there, right? There's going to be about 24 homes along the ridge, 90 condos along the bottom, and 90,000 square feet of retail on the bottom along the frontage. Great project that we're seeing. This kind of infill project that's going to be able to connect people right to BART. You'll be able to live in those condos, walk to BART. What an opportunity, and we're seeing that happen. BART has come. BART has put us on the map. I went to a conference last year, and it was so fun to be able to drive down, get on BART, drive right into San Francisco, get off, walk up the Mission, get to the hotel, get done, walk, and come back. It connects us to San Francisco like we've never been connected. What an opportunity for Antioch. Now, for those of you who've wondered about, but what about all those lanes and that unsafety, right? We've been working with BART to be able to try to fix it. So what you're going to see over the course of the next little bit, number one, 800 more parking spaces. So that's coming, probably 2 years, right, Diane? About, we hope. It always takes longer to go out to bid and build, but 800 more parking spaces are coming. Now, when you get on right now, this second lane is a straight lane. You're not supposed to turn right on that second lane. How many people turn right on that second lane? Have you ever done it? No, good. Thank you, Chief. Yeah, not supposed to. So that will be, as we do it, that's going to turn into 2 right turn lanes. So you're going to build, both lanes will be able to get on the freeway. But what they're really doing is right now, see, you've got this death trap right here along that lane, which is the bike lane, right? It's a death trap. It's unsafe for the bikes. So what's going to happen is there's going to be an on-ramp right here for the bikes to be able to get off of the street and get onto a protected bike lane that rides through that. And so that's the fix that's coming. That's what's going to happen. So hopefully it'll be safer when it's all done. But that's what we've been working on with BART to be able to drive forward to fix that situation. We're working on it. Sand Creek focus area right now, we're looking at our first senior gated community, the first senior gated community in Antioch, an active adult senior community. Yes, for those who want to live in our community as they age, there's an opportunity now. We're excited. They're actually selling homes now. What a great opportunity. This one right here, Deer Valley Park. So Deer Valley Park, for those of you who are golfers like me, Roddy Ranch Golf Course, losing that was a real sad day. And what's happened is since that closed, there's been a gate there and you can't even go in. And so you've got this beautiful golf course up there with a clubhouse, parking, everything, and it's been closed now for almost 3 years. Nobody can go up. And so I called Colin Coffey, who's our representative of East Bay Regional Board, and we set up a meeting with Bob Doyle, who's the executive director of East Bay Regional Park District. We sat down and we said, there's a park up there. When's it going to get open? And Bob looked at us and he said, well, you guys are on the list in 10 years. we'll set aside money to be able to plan for when that's going to open. And I said, Bob, this doesn't make any sense. There's 5 miles of handicap accessible trails up there. I mean, you go up in a wheelchair and go around the course. It's beautiful. It's already built. There's bathrooms. There's parking. This doesn't make any sense. We lobbied. 3 months later, Colin Coffey called me up and said, Sean, we did it. I said, did what? He goes, we're now on the planning. We got the money. Instead of 10 years from now, we got it now. And so hopefully in 2 to 3, still 2 to 3 years, still too long for me. But there's already a park up there. But we lobbied and we won. And so that's been moved up. We're excited to be able to open that park up for our residents, for our citizens to be able to utilize. And so we're working on that. Uh-oh, we died. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So there is no time to rest. I said that we're running a marathon at a sprinter's pace. We truly are. We're going as fast as we can. We're doing everything we can. We have 5 council members right now that work their butts off. I want to just say to the rest of my council members, thank you so much for all the work that you guys do. This is, I mean, you think, okay, they just go to 2 meetings a month. No, they don't. No, they don't. They work their butts off. They go to so many different community meetings. They go to so much. They lobby on our behalf. There are things that Lori and Joy and Monica and Lamar are doing that I'm not doing, right? And it takes all of us to reach into different circles and different people that we know to make it all happen together. And it's happening. We are driving forward to make this the place that people in the Bay Area want to live. We want this to be the place in the Bay Area. You know, when I ran, I was so frustrated. One of the things I was frustrated about was all my friends were moving. All of my friends were leaving. They were all selling their houses and going somewhere else. I was tired of it. I begged my wife to let me run. She cried. For 6 months, I think she cried. Politics scared the crap out of her. This isn't what she wanted. Honestly, it's not what I want. The reason I ran is because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to try to make this the place that my friends wanted to live instead of wanted to get away from. I wanted to make this the place that we all want to be at, that we're excited about, that we know that Antioch is the place in Antioch. It's a place of opportunity. It's a place where affordable homes and where we love each other and care about each other. It's the place where we all come together and there's community. It's the place where diversity lives and thrives. I stood in Food Max this was about 2 months ago. I'm standing in Food Max and I'm going, now, there's a young African-American girl at the cash register. She goes to school with my son, right? I get up to the front. She goes, Mayor Wright? And I go, yeah, how do you know me? She goes, oh, I went to school with your son. I was in the band with your son. I said, that's great. But I stood in line. She was the cash register. There was a Mexican family in front of me. There was a Middle Eastern family in front of me. I'm sitting there. I'm going, this is a rainbow. This is incredible. This is diverse. We were standing there, and it was all of us. And I thought, this is our community. This is truly our community. And we thrive in that. You can't put a circle around one of our neighborhoods and say, oh, that's where the Hispanics live. That's where the African Americans live. We all live together. We all drive forward to be that community where we accept one another, where we work together. And I'm excited to be a part of that community. I'm excited to have this be the place that we all love to live, to bring the jobs, to work together to drive Antioch into the future. Now, Ron was saying, let's drive it and make it that place. It is that place. Let's just make it better. It's that place already. This is the place that we're happy to live. Let's just keep making it better. Thank you so much for coming today, for being able to listen. Let's work together and drive to that vision of seeing where we are, who we are, to really keep making this the place that everyone in the Bay Area drives to and wants to live in. Thank you so much for coming out tonight.
Can I have the clicker? Can we have one more round of applause for our speakers today and the work that each of you does, your colleagues do, your team does. We are so grateful for it. So thank you all so much. again, thank you for coming out today. A big thank you to our sponsors. The branding effort that the city is doing is unprecedented. I had a buddy who was on BART. He lives out in Pleasant Hill. Sent me a text the other day, and it was a photo of an advertisement on BART. And he said, "What the heck is going on in Antioch right now?" And I said, "We're letting people know that we're here." And he was excited about it. He was genuinely excited about the efforts that are taking place here in Antioch. So thank you so much, Mayor Wright, City Manager Ron Bernal, Chief Brooks, for everything that you're doing. People want to be here. So we're excited. On behalf of the Antioch Chamber of Commerce, thank you to each and every one of you for coming out today. That concludes today's State of the City. We look forward to seeing each of you next year. Have a great day.